Welcome to Face of History, your source for in-depth and engaging stories and facial reconstructions of some of the world's most famous and influential figures. Today, we explore the life and history of Achilles, the legendary Greek warrior and hero of the Trojan War, and at the end, we'll reveal his facial reconstruction. Any moment might be our last. Everything is more beautiful because we're doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now. We will never be here again. Homer. Achilles was born to the king of Phthia, Peleus, and the sea nymph, Thetis. He was said to be invulnerable, except for one small part of his body, his heel. This led to the expression, Achilles' heel, referring to a weakness in an otherwise strong person or thing. Despite his vulnerability, Achilles was still considered to be the greatest warrior of his time. He fought in several battles and won countless victories, earning him fame and glory. But it was his role in the Trojan War that truly solidified his place in history. Let me not then die ingloriously and without a struggle, but let me first do some great thing that shall be told among men hereafter. Homer. The Trojan War was fought for a reason that was as passionate as it was tragic. Love. The conflict was sparked by the abduction of Queen Helen by the Prince of Troy. Seeing this crime as an act of war and an affront to the sanctity of marriage, the Greeks rallied together to launch a massive invasion of the city of Troy to reclaim Helen and restore the balance of power. This was no easy battle. The war stretched on for a decade, each side determined not to fail. The Trojan War was a conflict like no other, with battles fought on land and sea, and heroes from both sides rising to greatness and falling to ruin. On one side marched Achilles, the greatest warrior of his age, a man whose bravery and strength inspired fear in his enemies and respect in his allies. On the other warred Hector, another prince of Troy, a man of honor and duty who would stop at nothing to protect his city and his people. The two sides clashed in a war that would shake the very foundations of the world. The Trojan War was a tale of heroes and legends, of bravery and cowardice, of love and loss. It was a time when the fates of nations hung in the balance, and their future was decided by the actions of a few brave and determined individuals. Achilles was one of the warriors who fought in this war, and he quickly became one of its most important figures. Achilles was driven by a thirst for revenge after Hector, the Prince of Troy, killed his close friend Patroclus. According to the Iliad, they were both warriors in the Greek army during the Trojan War, and they shared a deep bond of affection and loyalty. In many versions of the story, Patroclus was seen as Achilles' cousin or foster brother, and their relationship was as close as brothers. In other readings of the story, like the Song of Achilles, their relationship is highlighted not just for its deep friendship, but also romantic closeness. Regardless of the exact nature of their relationship, it is clear that Achilles and Patroclus were close friends who valued and trusted each other deeply. When Hector killed Patroclus in battle, Achilles was struck with grief, which turned to rage. The loss drove him to vengeance. He returned to the battlefield and put on the armor of his fallen friend Patroclus and fought Hector. After a tough fight, Achilles finally managed to defeat Hector, killing him and bringing an end to the war. In the end, the bond between Achilles and Patroclus is one of the most enduring and well-known elements of the story of the Trojan War, and it highlights the close bonds of friendship, love, and loyalty. Despite his heroic actions, Achilles was not immune to death. He was eventually killed by Paris, the Prince of Troy, who shot him in the heel with an arrow. Achilles' death marked the end of an era, and he has since become a symbol of bravery and strength. Today, Achilles is remembered as one of the greatest warriors in history. His legacy has been passed down through the ages, and his story has been told and retold in countless works of art, literature, and film. From the epic poem The Iliad by Homer to the movie Troy starring Brad Pitt, Achilles has captured the imagination of people for thousands of years. His life and story continue to inspire us and remind us of bravery, that even when faced with obstacles, with hardship, we could summon the strength within us, our inmost courage, to keep moving and going forward, especially for love. The physical appearance of Achilles is not described in detail in ancient texts, so it is difficult to say exactly what he looked like. In ancient Greek sculpture, Achilles was often depicted as a powerful and imposing figure. Sculptures of Achilles typically show him as a young man with a muscular build, wearing armor and carrying weapons. These sculptures emphasize his bravery, strength, and martial prowess, as well as his youth and vitality. Then we see the copy of the head of Achilles, the original purported to be by the great sculptor Scopas. And finally, for a harder moment, we see his death scene, where he is carried off the battlefield, wounded. As for his hair, his name on Syros was given due to his hair color, and the name meant fiery or red. At the same time, Homer describes Achilles' hair as yellow, flaxen, fair, or light-colored hair. Putting aside Brad Pitt's charming role, alas, we've combined what historical images we do have as a basis to get a glimpse of what Achilles could have looked like. Here we are. Like the generations of leaves, the lives of mortal men, now the wind scatters the old leaves across the earth. Now the living timber bursts with the new buds and spring comes around again. And so with men, as one generation comes to life, another dies away. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed learning about the life and history of Achilles. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe here for more engaging stories about famous figures from throughout history. See you in the next video.